Hey guys, it's Mr. Kilburn, and I'm going to show you two different ways to solve a quadratic equation, one by completing the square and one by the quadratic formula. Completing the square we've done in class the last couple of days. Quadratic formula you just saw. So it's good to see it again. You need to be able to practice it, and your ability to solve by completing the square is pretty good, but I thought it'd be a good idea to show two side by side so that you can compare and start to process more deeply what one looks like over the other. So here's what I mean. So when you're completing the square, the first thing you need to do is make sure that this quadratic is set equal to 0. So if it's not set equal to 0, you need to do exactly that. So the first thing here you would do in this case is add 12x to both sides. Whoa, it's supposed to be a 12x. Okay, so now I have 6x squared plus 12x minus 48 equals 0. Okay, remember when you're completing the square, that leading coefficient, that quadratic term has to have a coefficient of 1. And if it doesn't, that's your first job. So it's not really a matter of what do I factor out? It's just kind of there for you to factor out. So in this case, I'm going to factor out a 6. Okay, so 6 times what? Yeah. I know, actually, listen, when you're recording, technology happens. Can't help it. Oh, I thought you were laughing at me. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I still am recording because this stupid thing's not working. Now I'm going to keep recording. I don't care how long it takes. There we go. Finally. Okay, good. So 6 times what is 6x squared? Just the x squared. 6 times what is 12x plus 2x. Leave a space, minus 48 equals 0. Okay, now take half that linear term, which in this case is 2. Square it, you get 1. So I'm going to add 1 right there. Now be careful. I'm not really adding just 1. I'm multiplying 6 by 1. So I need to add a 6 over here. Okay, now 6 times x, half that linear term, squared. I'm going to bring that 6 over, get minus 54 equals 0. When you're completing the square, it's a good idea to just go back to set it equal to 0. You'll learn little different shortcuts here and there. Like that 6 could stay there and bring over the 48 and whatever. But if you want to go back to setting it equal to 0, I think you have a good kind of like baseline where to start next, which in this case is to add 54 to both sides. Make sure. Yeah, like Axel said, enable push notifications, destroy the like button, hammer the bell, you know the drill. Okay. Okay. Axel's going to be my manager, it looks like. What do you take for a commission, Axel? Moderate fee, so 20%. Okay, that's fair. No, I'm just gonna let it run. I don't care. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll make it go viral quicker. Just swap out the battery. You only make 4A batteries. Any idea? I've heard of AA and AAA. Ever hear of 4A? It's just isn't that weird? Okay, you know work now. There, now it's working. Okay. Sorry about the technical glitch. For this stylus fuel. Okay, the 54s cancel. Now I've got 6 times x plus 1 squared equals 54. Divide 6, divide 6. X plus 1 quantity squared equals 9. Now the inverse of squaring is to take the square root. But if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So now I have x plus 1. Be careful, not just 3, positive and a negative 3. Subtract 1, subtract 1. And I now have x equals negative 1 plus or minus 3. So this may look like one answer, but there's clearly 2 solutions here, 2 roots, 2 zeros. You need to do x equals negative 1 plus 3 and x equals negative 1 minus 3. this is 2, and this is -4. So there's your zeros, okay? And that's doing it by completing the square. So now we're going to do it by the quadratic formula, which we just learned today. We took the standard form of a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c. We completed the square. We ended up with a quadratic formula. Okay, it took a while. Made you feel like you had big brains, right? So I always want to do that on a Friday. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is identify what A, B, and C are. So in this case, A is 6, B is 12, and C is -48. So solving by the quadratic formula really is just an exercise in substituting and following the order of operations. So in this case, you would have -12 plus or minus the square root of 12 squared minus 4 times A, which is 6, times C, which is -48, all over 2 times A, or in this case, 2 multiplied by 6. Okay, next, in each of these, we're going to say x equals, all right? X equals x equals. Okay, so now -12 plus or minus the square root of 144. -4 multiplied by 6 multiplied by -48 gives us 1,156, sorry, 52. 1152, all over 2 times 6 is 12. And now I have -12 plus or minus the square root of 1296, all over 12. It just so happens that 1296 is a perfect square, which is always nice. So now I have plus or minus square root of 36. Sorry, just 36. 36 all over 12. So again, 2 zeros. And they better match up with what I have over here, right? So -12 plus 36 divided by 12. And x equals -12 minus 36 all over 12. All right, well, this gives me 24 over 12, which is 2, which is what I wanted. And this gives me -48 over 12, which gives me -4, which is what I wanted. Okay, there you go, guys. There's solving a quadratic formula, a quadratic equation, one by completing the square, one by the quadratic formula. Hope that helped. Don't forget, Padlet is in Google Classroom. Don't forget to go to YouTube, sub, destroy the like button, enable push notifications. Everybody knows the rules. Later, guys. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.